So let's talk about sales trauma. We all have been traumatized by sales in one way or the other. Now, this trauma is as a result of either us buying from people or us selling to people. It's either as a result of what we have bought or what we have sold. And as an entrepreneur and as a leader, you probably have experienced this, right, in one shape or another. And when you experience sales trauma, the thing is that it actually wounds you in such a deeper level that you don't realize that it wounds you. And because it wounds you at such a deeper level, it affects your business, your coaching business in a deep, deep way, right? So sales trauma happens when we are hurt or we experience a certain negative emotion as a result of a sale. So remember, trauma, like I always teach, is not what happened to you. It's not actually the event in itself. It's the emotional and mental experience and psychological experience that you have from that experience. So trauma is not what happened to you, it's what happened inside of you or in you as a result of something happening on the outside. Most of us have been wounded and have been traumatized by the process of selling. And this one thing alone is actually blocking us so much from making money in our businesses. And how this is doing to you probably is by either stopping you from selling, being afraid of selling, or stopping you from buying and being afraid of buying, of having failed investments. So let's start with the first type. So the first type is going to be what I'll call the selling trauma, right? So the selling or the making offer trauma. So this is when you are the one selling, and because you've sold something or you've marketed something and nobody bought it, or because people bought it and you had a bad experience from it, that literally traumatized you. And because that traumatized you, it literally puts you in a place where now you're either in the state of you don't want to sell, you don't want to market your offer, you don't desire to show up again, either because you are afraid that what happened in the other offer or with the other offer is going to happen again. So subconsciously, your brain is literally doing its work of trying to keep you safe, as you already know, right? And here, what is happening is that because probably, let's say you created an offer and you tried selling that offer for a month and all that you heard was cricket, 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 you got discouraged talking about that offer because in those moments, you felt rejected, rejected, rejected. And because your brain doesn't like you feeling negative emotions, your brain's job is to protect you from feeling pain. You're going to do everything, your nervous system, your psychology, and your subconscious mind is going to do everything to stop you from showing up and selling. It's going to do everything it can to stop you from showing up and actually selling your program, selling your offer, and changing people's life. Why? Well, because it is trying to keep you safe. So how is your brain doing this? Or why is your brain doing this rather? Again, it's simply because it's doing its job. So the last time that you created that offer and put it out there and no one bought it, the last time that probably maybe you sold that offer and the experience you had with that client either was negative or they were not doing the work, they were complaining, or at the end of the day, they were not really self-led, they just were triggered and said some things that were not really aligned and good about you. You probably, there's a part of you that literally went ahead and made that mean something. And because that part of you made that mean something, right? Because that part of you made that mean something, what happened is that you literally have this subconscious block now where each time that you want to put a new offer out there, or each time you want to create something of that sort, or it could be a new offer or you just want to sell, your brain is going to be like, oop. Now, this is not a conscious process, right? Subconsciously, your mind is going to be like, oop, don't do that. Don't do that because that's not safe. Don't put that offer out there because that's not safe. Don't put that offer because if you do, what happened the last time is going to happen again. So there's this protective mechanism that is going to happen. And it's going to either prevent you from taking actions, or each time that you want to take actions, you're going to notice yourself coming up against so many resistance, so much fear, so much resistance that you need to overcome in order to actually put yourself out there, or actually show up and sell, or show up and share your content. And this goes not just with offers, it goes even with the content you've created, it goes with the conversations you've had. If you have put a post out there, for example, and what you got was cricket, and what you got were people complaining or like a sense of rejection, in that moment, it triggered something, right? It triggered probably a deeper wound that you already held. And because that wound got triggered, and the job of your brain is to make sure that you are not put in hurt anytime, any other time that you want to write a post, maybe that has that energy, or in that light, let's say you wrote something polarizing and people's responses were not nice, your brain is going to remember how it felt. And because it doesn't want anything to trigger that rejection that it felt, probably not in that moment, a rejection that you were already experiencing within yourself, your brain is actually going to be like, you know what? Let's not do that. Let's not do that because nobody is going to care. Let's not do that because nobody is going to buy. Let's not do that because we are going to get rejected. So you get now these blocks that is stopping you from either creating the offer, showing up, or selling. Because the last time that you created this offer, it didn't work. So now your brain is like, if you do it, it's not going to work. So if you already know that if you do it, or if you show up and share that content, is not going to work, or put that offer out there, is not going to work. So it's, I better don't try. I better don't do it, right? So this is your brain. It'd be like, I better don't do it. I better don't try. I better don't go to that gym. I better don't do that thing. I better don't do it because that experience gave me some hurt, some trauma. So again, and trauma is not big. It must not be a huge thing. Anything that hurts your feeling in any way is traumatizing. It's traumatizing because it hurts you, and because it hurts you, your brain restores and registers that as danger. And because your brain is trying to keep you safe, it's not going to want you to experience that emotion again. So it could be as little as having a bad comment on your post. It could be as little as nobody commenting on your video. It could be as little as nobody buying that offer. It could be as little as somebody buying that offer and then giving you a complaint that you didn't really like. And because you didn't process that event and you didn't process that emotion, now it's blocking you and stopping you from showing up, sharing your work, and making the sales. So that is the first type of trauma. It's literally the one that we experience directly from our work and from our experience of sharing our work, selling, marketing your offer, and all of that. And the second type of trauma is literally the sold trauma, the sold to trauma. So this is the one that you are actually the one that is sold to. So it could either be that the process through which you were sold to kind of like traumatized you, or it could also be that whatever you bought, the experience after the sales also traumatized you. So because of this, you now view this, you feel hurt, you feel disappointed, and you now have this subconscious block of, oh my God, I can't sell, or I don't want to sell because I don't want people to feel what I felt. And I also don't want to buy because I don't want to feel what I felt. Now, this is not you consciously saying this. This is literally what is going up in the subconscious brain. And because you're not aware, we all are never really aware of what is happening in the subconscious. But because you are not aware of this, it literally shows up as you either also as being afraid of selling to people, because there's this expectation that you had that was broken and that was not met. And you don't want people to also have these expectations that are not met, because your brain thinks that what happened to you, you might do that to others. It's like the hurt that you experience, you might hurt others. So, and because you're a genuine, amazing human with a big heart, you don't want to do that. And because you don't want to do that, guess what? You create this block, you have this resistance where you are not selling. And it could be now on the other way. This one can also show up in the other way. It can show up as you resisting investing in yourself, resisting investing in your business, because the last investment, either the buying process was not great, or the experience after the process was not what you expected, and you didn't get the result you expected, meaning that you had an expectation that failed. And because of that, now you've made it in your mind, mean that every experience that you have subconsciously is going to be like that. So you are going to naturally not want to invest anymore. You are not going to invest anymore because it was traumatizing. It made you feel bad. You were disappointed. Your emotions were hurt. And this is what I always say. Anything that hurts your emotions literally traumatizes you. People don't know that trauma is as thin as that. The disappointment that you felt from not getting the result from that coach, or being coached wrongly, or being judged, or being forced, or being whatever it is the experience was for you, it is still stored in you right now. And probably because you didn't process that emotion, you suppressed it, right? You suppressed it and maybe move to the next thing. And you didn't really embrace the emotion. You didn't experience the emotion. And because you didn't embrace and experience the emotion, you didn't process it, right? And because you didn't process it, what happened? Because you didn't process that emotion, it's stored in your body. And then the commands from those stored emotion are playing in your mind. They are playing in your brain, they are playing in your mind, and they are creating all these blocks, right? They are creating all these blocks where it's like, oh, you can't show up now and sell. Oh, you can't make that offer now. Oh, you can't do that because, okay, this is going to happen. That is going to happen. So it's like all of these stories. There's a whole bunch of stories that you've created around selling. You've created around buying, and you've created around making offers. That is like full of experiences from the past, and you're not conscious of that you're doing this. You're not conscious that you're doing this. So your work for this is going to be being aware of this, right? And we work really deeply in this in my programs, and you can check the link here to see what program we are doing. But it's like, this is actually like the thing that is stopping you from showing up, that is stopping you from selling. It could be the thing that is also stopping you from investing and buying and moving forward into that. So sales trauma is true. And all the time, people are traumatized into sales. And all the time, people are traumatized after sales. All the time, we ourselves are traumatized by people not buying. And all the times, we are traumatized by our experience with our clients as leaders after they buy. So it's like, if you were not traumatized, if that experience didn't happen, how would you sell? How would you buy? What would you buy? What would you sell? Right? So you're going to first of all start by getting clear on like, when was the first time I posted or I put something out there, and then in terms of selling, in terms of my offer, maybe it didn't work. And it didn't work. And because I felt hurt, and maybe I just pushed it and I just rushed through it and I didn't process that emotion. Where was the first time I felt like that? And then the second thing is like, when was the first time, when was the first time I felt like maybe after the sale, the relation either didn't work well, or the coaching experience in itself, or the offer itself, there was something off, and how did that really make me feel? And you want to be honest with yourself, because at times you can just brush these things and be like, oh, that is okay. No, it's not okay. It's not okay, because as a leader, when you fully own this and you take responsibility for this, you are actually going to notice how you are going to sit and process it and not just rush through it. And that is going to change your sales and the way that you are showing up in the world. And the second thing here is literally looking also at the things you've bought, how you've bought, and what you've experienced after buying. What way did you feel like maybe your expectations were not met? In what way did you feel like maybe the coaching container or the offer or the program didn't really serve you? And because it didn't serve you, what did you make that mean about selling, about coaching, about programs, about clients? Because it could be like, okay, because I didn't experience results, I'm afraid that I don't want to give people results. So in what way are you also trying subconsciously, in what way are you trying to stop people from experiencing what you experienced? In what way are you trying to stop people from experiencing what you experienced? Right? So, because you could be stopping people from experiencing what you experienced. You could be stopping people from being like, no, I don't want them to feel that. Without literally saying it, but it's like your brain does, because you're a good person, you're a good human, you are someone with values, and you have an amazing heart. You don't want people to experience what you experienced. And your brain is afraid that you are going to be that person, that the mentor, the coach, the offer, the program, the thing you bought, or your product or whatever you're offering is going to be like the thing that you bought. Because these things are real. And when you can sit down and journal and experience all of this, you're going to actually notice how this is actually showing up in your life right now or in your business right now. How is this showing up in your life? How is this showing up in your business? And if this is showing up in your business, in what way is it affecting you? Affecting your bottom line, affecting the impact you could be creating, the result you could be giving people, and the life-changing work that you could be sharing with the world. Because when you get clear on this, and you're pretty clear, very clear, then you're going to know where this is coming from. And if you're ready to take the next step forward to actually process and heal from this, so that when you show up next time, you don't have any of these things holding you back, you can always send me a DM. I specialize in helping entrepreneurs and leaders do their inner work and, of course, change the world. Make aligned money. So you can send me a DM privately or using the link below and on social media. That's the best way I love to connect with you. And I'm going to share with you which program is most aligned for you at the moment. Sending you lots of love.